All right, sixth graders, we talked about linear functions yesterday. Those are sets of numbers that give you a line on a graph, and they're related in some way. Can you think of one way that you could relate numbers in terms of yards and feet? How are yards and feet, those numbers, related? Cool?
A yard is 3 feet.
Okay, 1 yard is 3 feet. So 2 yards is 6 feet, and 3 yards is 9 feet, and X number of yards is what number is constant in all of those? 3 times X. 3 times X number of feet. And that's a relationship and a function, an example of a function, because it gives you a line on a graph. Okay? Today we're going to be talking about equations like this. Remember, an equation is any number sentence that has an equal sign. And this one has the x and the y. What do the x and the y refer to? All of these equations we're going to be talking about have an x and a y in them. Why? Why x and y?
Why?
You got it. Roy, what's the answer? Why do they have an x and a y in them?
One's for x, it goes down.
Yeah, the x numbers, and they refer to which line on a coordinate grid? Which one is it?
The right to the left.
The right to left. This is the x line. So that refers to how far to the right or left we go. And the y in the equation also refers to the y on the coordinate grid over here, or how far up or down to go. So when you find two numbers that work for the equation, you're finding two numbers that make a point on the graph. Okay? So let's talk about the procedure. We're going to use the equation and we're going to make a chart like this. And we're going to choose numbers for the x and then put them into the equation to find which y number goes with it. Okay? So look at this example. If you choose the numbers 1, 0, and -1, those are easy numbers to work with. They're easy numbers to multiply. And so let's use those numbers. These are numbers that I like to use. Whenever it says choose some numbers, choose 1 and 0 and -1. Most of the time, those are the easiest numbers to use. 0 is definitely the easiest because 0 times any number is 0. Yep. Now, let's say that we take the 1 and you put it into this expression for the x. Remember when we did that before? You substitute a number in, and to find the answer, you do the math to find the answer. That's what we're doing here. Is first choosing the number 1 and then putting it into the equation to find the answer. So 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1. Where does this plus 1 come from? Where does this plus 1 come from?
It's part of the equation.
Yeah, it's part of the equation that's given. The 4 is part of the equation given. So we keep those, we put the 1 in place of the x, and find that when x is 1, what is the value of y? When x is 1, y is what? 5. So those two numbers are a solution. They go and make this equation true. They go into the equation and make it a true statement. That's what we're trying to find, is numbers that make a true statement. How about 0? When x is 0, y is 1. Yep. Because 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1 equals 1. So the numbers 0 and 1 are two numbers that fit this equation. And how about negative 1? Substitute negative 1 in. So 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, isn't it? Plus 1, negative 3. So negative 1 and negative 3 work for this equation. Now, what we have here are a set of points. 1, 5, 0, 1, and negative 1, negative 3. Do you know how to put those on the graph? You should. That was the first lesson. Stop whispering over here. Pay attention. Do you know how to put these on the graph?
Yeah.
Daria? You have to look up here. Do you know how to put these on the graph? Okay. Just nod your head or something that I know that you're listening to me and not Alex. Okay? Now, we can put these on the graph. Start with 1, 5. That's where this goes. That's that point. So mark that point. 0, 1. So over 0 and up 1. There's the second point. And negative 1, negative 3. There's the third point. Okay? Then the last step, since we're going to be graphing lines, is to do what? Make a line. Take a straight edge and draw the line through the points. Now, since this is a line, it's not a line segment. Whenever you're graphing a line, you have to put an arrow on the end of the line. Put 2 arrows because this line continues in both directions infinitely. Are these the only 3 numbers or 3 points that work for this equation, or are there more? There's more. How many more? There's an infinite number, okay? Not every set of points work, all right? Does the point 2, 0 work?
No.
No, it's not on the line. Only numbers that are on this line work for this equation, okay? In fact, every number that's on this line works for the equation. And that's why we can't just say, well, it's only 1, 5. Or it's only 0, 1. No, it's every number on this line. Okay? So let's practice this. Number 1. Do number 1 on your own. See if you can get it. Do number 1. See if you can get number 1. Go back to your procedure if you have a question about what to do. The first thing you have to do is on the side, you have to make a chart. So I should see everyone with a chart like this. Everyone has to make a chart. Then you have to put numbers on the chart.
No.
And choose numbers. Like, if x is 0, I wonder what y is. How about, what if x is 1? What if x is 2?
How do you get these numbers?
Yeah, you just pick them. You just pick numbers. Like 0, 1, and 2. Yeah, random numbers, but pick small numbers. Start with 0. No. You can do it 1, 2. Well, no, you can't. You don't know what y is. You have to find y by putting the number in place of x. So, yeah, and so then you put in 1.
Oh, I
And
see.
do 4 times 1 plus.
Plus 1, so 6. Oh, I see. Okay.
What if x is -1? Now, you only really need 2 numbers, but it's good to do 3, just so that you know you got the right line, okay? It's easier to graph 3 points than it is 2 points. Make sure you have a straight line. Carson? Well, first of all, where did you get your y number? Well, you only pick the x numbers, and pick the same ones as me, okay? Okay? Pick the same ones that I picked. Now, you put your number in, that you pick. What is the last number? 4 times 0. And then 4 times 1 plus 1. Now, those are your points. And then you put those on the graph as in order. 0, 1, 0, 1. Now we have to do both places. No, you don't mark it. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yep. Okay, let's do the first one again. 0, 1. Oops, I'm sorry. First we have to put 0 in for the x. 4 times 0 plus 1 is 1. So 0, 1 is a point. Then 4 times 1 plus 1. 5. When x is 1, y is 5. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. So 2, 9 is a point. -1. 4 times -1 is -4. Plus 1 is -3. That's a point. Sure, you can do a negative number. You can do a negative number. So, then we can put these points in. 0, 1, 1, 5, 2, 9. Oh, that's off the graph. Let's look at -1, -3. That's on the graph. So mark those points, and then use a straight edge. Draw the line. And you're done. let's do number 2. Make a chart for x and y. Choose numbers for x, 0, 1, -1, and then find the y coordinates. So, I'm going to use this space right here, right? Y equals 2 times 0 minus 3. 2 times 0 is 0, minus 3 is -3. So when x is 0, y is -3. How about when x is 1? So 2 times 1 minus 3. Well, that's 2 minus 3. So that's -1. How about if x is -1? 2 times -1 minus 3. Well, that's -2 minus 3, and that's -5.
Get it wrong.
Okay. And so we use these points to find the dots on the graph. Use those coordinates. 0, -3. 1, -1. And -1, -5. Does that form a line? It sure does. Make sure you put arrows on the end. Then on the back side, you're going to pick which set of these goes with the arrow. There we go. Which set goes with the arrow and the lines. Then you have to graph 3 of these using the same procedure. With an x and y chart, find points and draw the line. Then you have to find numbers that go with this problem, number 6. And then you have to find which of these ordered pairs, which of these points fit this equation, and match the answer to the graph. Okay? So finish that side for your homework.